Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Ireland Bound. Today, on a second, there we go. Today, I feel like doing a tattletale video. I am going to tell you a story about part of my family. And since all participating members are dead, they can't come get me. Um, I was talking with one of my coworkers the other day, and we got talking about family things, stuff from the past, and um, so I, thought of this story, and I thought, okay, this is a great story. This is one that I definitely need to put down on video. So this involves my mother, her brother, who was my uncle, and my grandparents, her parents. Hold on a second, I have a cat that's getting very amorous with my tripod. Last time that happened, my camera would. That was a lovely ride. Okay, so anyways, this family story. You remember back the story that I told y'all? It was quite some time back, actually. It was about how my grandparents met. And how infatuated my grandfather was. Son, would you leave my tripod alone? This cat is having too much fun with it. You do not need to sharpen your teeth on my tripod. Go away. I love my cats. All 900 of them. No, I don't have that many. Feels like it at times, but I don't. Anyways, so I had told y'all the story about how my grandparents had met. My grandfather was just absolutely head over heels for my grandmother. Well, of course, she eventually realized that she was pretty head over heels for him, too. My grandfather, the best way to put him is that he worshiped the ground my grandmother walked on. Anything she wanted, he would get for her. I mean, he really, really, son, leave it alone. Go play. Go play. Go play. Go, go, go. Don't give me that. I'm just going to have to study this the best I can. Anyway, so my grandfather would do anything for my grandmother, and all this shaking is the cat. I'm just keeping him from knocking it over. I can't get him to go away. And no, I don't have room to lock him in. Okay. No, I'm a fractured storyteller. Okay, back to my grandparents. My grandfather was absolutely in love with my grandmother. He thought that the world revolved around her. And anything she wanted, he would do his best to get for her. If she wanted to go somewhere, he would do his best to make sure she went there. If she wanted something, if she made a comment about liking something, he would go buy it for her. I mean, he absolutely loved her. Well, there was one day that my grandparents, they were in the grocery store shopping. And my grandmother, of course, any of us who have done shopping, you look at something, you pick it up, a can, a box, package of something, you look at it, and you might look and realize that it's not exactly what you want. Either someone who can't do a lot of sodium, the sodium content's too high. Or it might be something that it has something in it you're allergic to. Or you just look at the ingredients and you go, ooh, seriously? Who would want to eat that? And you put it back. Well, my grandparents, they were in the grocery store shopping. My grandmother had done that. She picked up a can of something. She kind of looked it over. She set it back down, and she walked away. My grandfather, of course, he saw her do that because he was in the store with her shopping. Anyways, he was in the store with her shopping. Well, they get home. She's taking all the groceries out, and there's this can of stuff. My mother never said what it was. But there was this can that my grandmother had put back, and she found it in there, and she threw a fit. What in the world is this thing doing in here? I didn't get it. I put it back on the shelf. I didn't want this. And of course, my grandfather, he kind of stepped forward and goes, Marie, I got it because I thought you wanted it and you just thought it was too expensive. He says, I wanted you to have it. She says, honey, says, you don't understand. So I looked at the can and I realized I didn't want that. It's not a matter of if it was too expensive. She said, I just looked at it and realized that I didn't want that. My grandfather goes, oh, he says, I'll tell you what, he says, I'll take the can back. I'll take it back and get our money back. She says, oh, no, 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 no. She says, you're going to learn a lesson with this. She says, you're going to learn not to pick things up that I haven't told you to pick up. Says, we're going to eat this. And I said, or she told him, says, you're going to see why I didn't want this. And my mom said, they cooked it. Said that night they cooked it. And let's just put it this way, it was a couple weeks later they were throwing out the rest of it. My grandfather learned that just because his honey looked at something doesn't necessarily mean she wanted it. So like I said, it didn't go over too well. um and then a little bit later, of course, my mother and my uncle, they from things like that, they quickly realized that if their mama, my grandmother, if she wanted something, grandpa would get it for her. Well, they had gone to her one day and they said, Mama said, can we have ice cream tonight? And of course, back then, it wasn't like, you kept ice cream all the time. It was one of those special purchase things. And she looked and says, no. She says, well, we don't need to be having ice cream. Says, I'm going to say no to it. Well, they got smart. They got really smart. So they went in and they're like, Daddy said, we were talking with Mama, and you know what she wants? She wants some ice cream. And Grandpa, he was like, that does sound pretty good. And so he got up, drove down to the store, got some ice cream, and brought it home for after dinner. Of course, they ate it and they were enjoying it and stuff. And then my grandmother looked at my grandfather and says, Dick says, this is actually a pretty good idea. I'm glad you had it. My grandfather goes, Marie, it's like, the kids said that you wanted this ice cream. And of course, both their heads turned to my mom and to my uncle, and they're like, um, who wanted this? And my mom said, all of a sudden, said she was hoping her ice cream would melt so she could melt too. She said the stare of both of her parents on her, it was like, they got caught. And so from that point on, says, Grandma and Grandpa kind of made it a rule that unless they talked to each other, not to listen to when the kids said that the other wanted something, especially them telling their daddy that Mama wanted something. And I thought, oh my word, it's like, yeah, it's like smart little kids here, but they got caught very quickly. At least they got one good round of ice cream out of it, right? Well, with tomorrow being Valentine's Day, actually, whenever I'm posting this, I'm filming it the night of the 13th, so it will be the 14th when I post it. But I thought, a nice little story like that would be a good thing for Valentine's Day. Some nice little thing about the family, and just kind of a little cute love story about how much my grandpa loved my grandmother, and the mischievousness of my mother and my uncle. So to my cousins, if you're watching this, your father, grandfather, he he very quickly agreed with my mother. She said she probably pushed it a little bit more, but he was sitting there going, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. But yeah, I remember my mother and my uncle both talking about that, and they got a good laugh off of it. Said, Grandpa and Grandma said they didn't, uh, give them a whooping or anything. They didn't do anything like that. They just, it was. I think there's a little bit of there. It's like, okay, the kids were smart enough to come up with this, and they successfully used it against each other. And it's like, but we're not doing it again. So, but anyways, like I said, it was kind of a sweet little couple of tales about my grandparents and their love and how they felt about each other, and it was just something that I want to share with y'all because I mean, this channel, truthfully, for the most part, is meant for my family. Even though I've got a trip coming up in October, it's still going to be for the family because I'm going to be recording in areas that my family lived back 300-400 years ago. But this is mainly meant to be stories of my family, the stories that I have heard, the stories that my mother, my uncle have told me, the stories that I've heard my dad and his siblings tell. And yeah, there will be some of those coming up. But like I said, I'm recording this on the 13th, but I'm going to post it on the 14th. And I thought it would be a nice little Valentine's Day thing to talk about, the love story that my grandparents had, their continuation, the things that made them tick as a couple, the things that affected both of them. I mean, like I said, Grandpa adored the ground that Grandma walked on. He would do anything for her, and sometimes it caused family hilarity. But I mean, you gotta expect that, right? That's the sign of true love and true happiness in a family. Whenever you can have something like that, and the parents are like, "Okay, we got caught. This worked out bad for us." But anyways, so that's it. That's all that I had. Um, I do, like I said, I do have stories from my dad's side. I just haven't gotten around to a lot of them yet. And there's some pictures that I had gotten that I'm having trouble getting them downloaded to where I can make them a part of a video. So it's kind of taken a while for my dad's side stuff to come up because, like I said, there's not very many younger pictures of my dad, and I think I showed you pretty much most all of them of him. I mean, there are some I don't know what happened to them, but there are some others I don't know where they're at. I've seen some of them. So, anyways, that's it. Since this is being posted on Valentine's Day, I hope everybody has a very wonderful and a very happy Valentine's Day. Whether you are spending it with um, someone that you care about, or if it's, like your kids and that, like that, spend it with your kids, or you're spending it with your parents, or you're spending it with your herd of cats. I've got a cat right behind me right now. She's being my backup here. I got two cats over here. I got a puppy right here. Got another cat right here. Uh, my herd is here. They're probably going to give me some good cuddles for tomorrow. But anyways, whoever you're spending Valentine's with, I hope you have a good one. I hope you enjoy it. If you go out and do something crazy and fancy, I hope you have a great time and that you stay safe. If you keep it simple and you just have a very intimate evening with the people you love, I hope that goes well too. But whichever you do, I hope everyone has a wonderful and very happy Valentine's Day. See y'all later.